Step inside the Dugout, your home for all things youth baseball and softball. Place your bag on the fence, find a spot on the bench, and let's get to work with your hosts, RJ, Jimmy, Ryan, and Mikey.
All right, welcome everyone to the first episode of the Dugout Podcast. We have 4 very good-looking, maybe 3 very good-looking. The verdict's still out on one. Coaches in here. I'm RJ. I'll be kind of moderating these podcasts as we go along.
I'm Jim Jones, not the Reverend, the coach with St. Mary's Little League.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Shepard with 5-star and Ghost.
Mike Farrell, CEO of Chesapeake Ghost.
Well, he had to throw that CEO title in there.
Excuse
me.
Yeah.
Let me backtrack
official.
to me. I'm commissioner of middle school baseball. I was former president of St. Mary's Little League.
I coached the Ripken games.
I've got a really nice beard.
Really nice beard. Futures champion. You know, nothing to brag about.
Viking
So
oils.
today's first episode is called The Bridge, and what we hope to do with today's episode is really dive into baseball in St. Mary's County and talk about how essentially there's a large gap that exists, right? So a bridge's purpose is to connect 2 or 3 entities, covering a gap. And that's what we believe we have down here in St. Mary's. So we're going to dive right into it. It's going to be a great conversation. We appreciate you tuning in for the first one. We have about, how many more we have lined up?
From your itinerary,
That's
Mr.
Like 50.
Itinerary, I think we got about 6, 7.
6? Oh, there he goes. There he
Oh,
thought it
well,
was
starting early.
Mikey, Come on.
Starting early, bro.
So, all right. So I'm going to kick it off. So a little bit of background. My son, my oldest, has played Little League all of his baby life. And now he is doing travel, not playing Little League this year. I know.
He's an amazing
down
kid, by
here,
the way. I love your son.
Oh, appreciate it. I think there's a little bit of a silo problem down here, if that makes sense, where once you move to one entity or organization, you're essentially shunned from another organization, or you feel as though that's the only organization you can participate in for the rest of your career, whatever it might be. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Just a little bit of background. My son, Max, my oldest one, has been playing Little League since he was league age 4, which is technically 3 years old in Little League's eyes. Just this past fall season, he moved over to the travel side. And that was because we really wanted him to get some experience at the larger diamond, the 50-70 diamond, which is the in-between of the 60 and 90. Little League didn't offer it, so we had to do what was best for him to progress, because his dream is he wants to keep playing baseball until he can't anymore, right?
Such a good kid.
Yeah, so we moved him over to travel, and as soon as that happened, it felt like things were a little different. Like, I won't use the word ostracized, but it felt as though...
It's taboo.
Taboo, right. Like, oh, he's part of this organization now. He's part of the Chesapeake Ghost. He can't possibly part of any other organization. And it almost creates like these silos that exist. And I see it not only at the rec side, but the travel side too. Do you guys feel that as well here locally?
Yeah. And we've talked about this one-on-one in the past before. I think for me, it's trying to it's people understanding, I guess, there are, just like in Little League, how there's different levels, right? So there's different things that you can learn as you move on in the game. Rec league, travel, high school, college, Legion, they all provide a different type of resource, right? A different experience, whether that be better playing conditions, the talent. I think our community, right? And I'm not talking about certain individuals, but there is that stigma of, if you play with a certain team or organization, or have a certain type of set of cleats, it's going to provide an advantage, right? Instead of, looking at it as a resource and an opportunity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for growth.
For growth, right? So if we look at things like Little League, right? I look at Little League, it's not so much to provide all-stars and studs. It's to teach the kids the growth of the game, things like how to deal with disappointment, how to be a better person, fall in love with the game. And then once you fall in love with the game, that's when you start to explore different avenues. How can I get better? And travel is one of those things that kids should definitely take advantage of. I myself did it, but I'll digress.
No, I,
What do you
I
guys think?
definitely, no, I definitely think that that exists in the community. We get down to a point where, if a player levels up, like he shouldn't be placed in like in a kind of
Mhm.
social
Yeah.
exile that's away from everybody else. He should 100% be, he should be shown pride. Hey, great job, man. We're going to go off and play travel because kids they can go between two. I mean, in a healthy baseball community, right? Kids move between rec, travel, and training as they grow. Nobody is supposed to really take that personally. They're growing, and that's a good thing, right? But like, honestly, like when adults, take that personally, then the kids, they tend to lose. They lose mentors, they lose reps, they lose their confidence.
Well, what are you trying to get out of it, right? What are you looking to get out of Little League? What are you looking to get out of travel, right?
Yeah.
There
Well,
isn't. Do you know what I
well,
mean?
yeah. So it goes back to like the opportunities I said for Max, where he needed to progress. So, Mikey, do you think it creates do you think the politics of this silo kind of creates almost a mental and physical barrier for these kids to progress if they're constantly feeling that, or even the parents, because I'm sure parents are talking to their kids about it, feeling that constant vigor, that threat coming from individuals?
Yeah, so I think that I don't know per se if the kids feel it. It all depends on how much the parents divulge. I think it's more so the parents feel it. There's been times where people are losing friendships
Yeah,
over
man.
just jumping from little league to rec and vice versa. I mean, sorry, rec to travel and vice versa. And the both should go hand in hand, right? Like, so I played little league all my life and travel. Little league for me was less pressure, opportunity to play with my friends who were, maybe not as talented or just as talented, but didn't love it like I loved it. Right. And that to me is what it should be about. Right. My son should be able to go play both and have nobody looking at him saying, oh, he's a travel ball kid. He should just be a kid playing baseball because he loves the game. And
Absolutely.
I think a lot of it is, and I've been trying to, as you guys know, we've had these conversations since I started Ghost. I've been trying to pinpoint like how to bridge that gap.
Mhm.
And to be honest, it's a lot of egos and it's a lot of parent egos. It's not the kids. The kids don't have a clue. And even if they do, they're young. They don't care. Like they're still going to hang out with little Timmy, regardless if they're playing travel ball or little league or both. Right. Like they just want to have fun. And
Unfortunately, though, Mikey, that does take time, though, right? I mean, we're trying to change a narrative that's been around for years. So it's trying to get creative, and hopefully something like this being out here and talking about it will help dilute some of that stigma of that I'll say us versus them, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's heavy, and I think it really brings up an interesting piece too from the resource perspective, right? So, you know, there's a lot of travel organizations, not just locally. I'm talking about across the country, are promising you elite travel, development, and they say they leave the rec leagues because they don't offer that. Because when you do have a large league like St. Mary's, upwards of 1,200 kids. You're gathering all the volunteers you can. The parents that believe their kids have outgrown the rec league and are seeking travel are doing it from a resource perspective. And it's almost like one side is the haves, the other side is the have-nots. Like the grass is greener over here because they're painting it or watering it, but the grass isn't greener over there.
But I also feel like, and like Jimmy's point, I understand like it takes time, but like just from like what I've seen, the people I've talked to, different states, different little leagues, different travel organizations, everyone that I've talked to has already done that.
Mhm.
Like they've already bridged the gap. So to me, from like I said, I've talked to plenty of people about this, trying to figure out the way. And I feel like it should have never been like that here, right, in St. Mary's County. And I don't know what changed that, but
It's like the
I
horse
went,
went before the cart.
yeah, like I went to Florida, and on a random Wednesday, their little league had a travel baseball tournament on a Wednesday, Christmas themed. All the kids are funneling through their little league, playing on the little league's version of travel ball. So it was the same name as their little league, but just their travel team. right?
Montgomery County does it.
Lakeshore
Yeah,
up in
Lakeshore
Lakeshore
does it.
that we went to, and they're hosting tournaments,
Mhm.
right? So you're hosting tournaments, and those funds aren't funding
To go back to
that
the league.
travel team. They're going back to the Little League.
But I'm wondering if it's the growth, how quick travel ball kind of exploded down here, right? You had travel back in the day. I'll take Legion as an example, right? And not calling Legion out, but back then it was select, right? You had one Legion travel ball team.
Yeah,
Now,
junior team and
how
senior
many
team.
are there now?
Yep.
Right? So travel ball
Post 255 here locally has like a bunch of.
Yeah. So travel ball has exploded, right? So then it turns into, I wear Nike shoes. Now everybody wants to wear Nike shoes. That's kind of what travel has done. And I think when you talk about the haves and have nots, that status of I play travel, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't always translate into being a better ball player. And I think if, whether you do travel or you don't do travel, at this age, I always think that the lessons that need to be learned on a baseball field from 12 and under, it's the humility of the game, and
Mhm.
how to deal with failure. I think it turns you into a better baseball player, a better person, right? And
Yeah.
then as we've talked about it before, and I think what a lot of people don't understand too, these kids are going to grow. Like they're
At
Grow into
different-
adults.
Different rates too.
at different rates. So puberty, I'll take myself an example.
And becoming an
Have you
adult.
hit it yet, Jimmy?
I yeah, I was terrible until I hit the 90 down. I did not grow until I was about 13. And I'm telling you, I couldn't hit a lick. Right. And those that watch this that know me from Little League will testify, yeah, he was terrible. And then I grew. Eye hand coordination, strength came in. So because we do certain things, we play travel, we don't play travel, you're hitting tanks now. I think if we were to take away that stigma of because you do this or because you do that, you're better, instead, teach them the game, teach them to fall in love with the game, which will turn you into a better person. And then you'll grow.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
no, it makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. I think
I also think that people have the wrong impression personally, right, of what Little League is supposed to be, right? Little League, yes, you should have a coach that's volunteer, right, that loves the game. They don't have to be the most knowledgeable, but the Little League, and like I said, in my opinion, is not where you become elite, right? Little League is where you grow from the love of the game and you get the opportunity to play with your friends. When you want to become elite, that doesn't mean you give up Little League. That just means you do the extra work.
Mhm.
So if you're training on your own, if you do join the travel team, figure out how to do both, right? I think the perspective of some parents is that Little League is supposed to get my kid elite. And if it doesn't, my kid needs to go to travel ball. That's not the case.
Right.
Little League is Little League for a reason. Everybody can play. It's affordable. Everyone gets similar opportunities, right? So you don't necessarily grow out of Little League, but I think you have to change that perspective that my son's playing Little League, so he should develop. No, that's not always the case. You should be doing the extra work and put in the extra work if you want your kid to develop. In my personal opinion, like I said, I played Little League. The coaches that I had were dads, didn't play at a high level. They were there for the kids and we got stuff done, right? But I don't personally, I did not grow as a player through Little League.
Like, you know what I remember about Little League? Friday night games, playing under the lights, and then going over to someone's house for sleepover.
That's it.
Little
Yeah.
League to me was my childhood, having friends.
My mom bringing orange slices.
That's
before-
my
it.
dad was throwing Gatorades over the top of the old
Yeah.
lemon lime ones, right?
Oh, the
Throwing
best
that over.
Hitting up Dairy Queen after.
That's the way
Like-
it's supposed to
like
be. Whether
that's-
you win or lose. I mean, if you lost a game, it didn't matter. If you won a game, it didn't matter, man. He was hitting. I mean, he'd hit a kid, a bounce right in my hand. Hey, thanks, bro. Let me shake it up real quick.
But that's what it is, right? That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what Little League is supposed to be. And then if you're good enough, then you make All-Stars, right?
Yep.
And that's when the competition ramps up. That's when, you grow as a player because you're playing other leagues, you're playing better competition because essentially everyone that joins All-Stars should be the best in the county or in that league, right? That's what I think the problem is. Part of
politics.
the problem.
Ooh, politics.
Part of the problem is I think the expectation of what people want to get at or think they should get out of Little League needs to be lower, and do more with your kids outside. Get them lessons if they love it. If they want to grow or you want them to grow, go to the park with your kid.
Yeah.
Throw BP.
Mikey mentioned lessons. We'll cover that in a later podcast, but there are so many resources down here that
So many
people in the know kind of know about, but those parents that, you know, might relocate here from military or
a lot.
whatever it might be just don't know about it. And, you know, you never want to limit a kid that wants to grow too,
Yeah.
right? So like I think of my youngest son, Zach, just yesterday, you know, he's been sitting inside for 4 days. He goes on back of the truck and gets out the hitting net, tee, and bucket of baseballs and hits baseballs in the front yard. You know, and I'm not going to say, dude, it's 13 degrees. Don't swing out there. He's getting reps in. He's doing what he wants to do, and he wants to grow. One thing, because I want to go back to it, Mikey, because you had mentioned kind of how they're doing things at other locations across the nation. And Ryan, I'll go to you with this because I know you've been to a lot of places with Declan and talked to a lot of people over not only your coaching career, but your kiddos' career. So what kind of models do you think exist, or why does that relationship work in other locations? And I'll tee it up with a little bit of, in my head, just from what I've seen locally, I think there could be a little bit of a transition trap where you'll see a lot of kids in our local community at that U level go travel, and then 12U travel. So those ages there, 11U, 12U, 11U's moving right to the 50-70. There's rec league down here that offers it, but there's not a lot of other options outside of that one rec league that offer that diamond. So is that kind of anything popped up in conversations you've had, Ryan, or what have you seen since you've been traveling the world with E-Train? Yeah, he's great.
I think like when we first got started with Baseball Factory last year, was talking to Steve and Nolan. Those guys are just absolutely incredible individuals, and chatting with them a little bit on the email side and seeing what that program was all about really made sense. Being able to go to a place and compete at, you know, kind of a showcase level to kind of see where you stand, you know, against other peers in like a 2030, 2029 class. And, you know, Declan did really great out there. We still weren't, you know, somewhat ready to make, you know, transitions, you know, any further than that. But then there was like a 3-month pop, you know, where we also went to Arizona and we went down there for factory, and those kids, the environment that they're in and they're presented with is just a 100% W in the chat, man. Yeah. It is W in the chat because you're honestly, you're surrounded by really good kids, really good parents, really good people that want to grow the game. The staff there is amazing, right? So we go back to talk about culture. You know, the culture of what factory is, the culture of the teams I'll talk about here in a second, but not locally, but nationally, the culture, right, really produces a lot of thought process in that child. So I'm going to go out there and I need to play my butt off, man, because, you know, these guys are ready to compete. I'm ready to compete. I want to show them what I got. And those kids are thinking the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. And they all look at each other and they understand that they're all just under one dugout. Right. Mm-hmm. And then they're out there, they're cheering for each other. These are dudes that haven't even met each other yet. Like they're out there for the first time and they're meeting up in a showcase, man. They're just showing off their skills. They're having a great time. But that's a culture that's totally different from here in Maryland, where each dugout is like separated. Parents are separated, coaches are separated from everybody. And it's crazy.
What's the disconnect then? What's the difference between what we have here in Maryland, right?
Parents
just call out St.
Parents.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey already said it, man.
Parents,
and that's parents, parents and ego, and that's a big deal.
That's not me calling anyone out specific, right?
Right.
But when, like Ryan's talking about, when you go to these higher level tournaments, right? The parents are bought in, right? They're vested, dedicated, right? And I think that and egos is what separates this county, because it's not that this county doesn't have talent. We have talent.
Well,
so
much. It's just segregated.
But it's, like you said, it's segregated. Like, and I'll give a real quick prime example, right? My dream always when I started Ghost, or if I didn't even start Ghost, was always to get the kids that are from the best travel organization, right? Get 4 or 5 from each travel organization and let's go compete. Let's get out of here. Let's go compete nationally,
compete, man.
right? And now you have it spread out, and then you have the egos and the parents' egos, and you can never get that to happen, right?
Yeah.
But why not, right? Why stick with this one travel team that's not, and I won't even talk from a development standpoint, but not going and getting these opportunities, right? We can go play in Maryland all day, right?
Play right in your backyard.
You can play Maryland all day,
all you want.
but I'll tell you right now, and excuse me for cursing, but if you stay in Maryland, when you go down south and don't compete, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Because those kids are seeing, and this is just Florida, right? But Texas, California, you're seeing high velos, studs all the time.
Well, your coach from Ripken, down at Futures, Luke French, former MLB player. We were talking with him at the hotel.
Man,
yeah, from Texas.
Shout out to Luke French.
Coaches a
What up,
13,
Luke?
14U team, and he said, look, our top 25 in the state of Texas, like the top 50 from Maryland or anything north, wouldn't even compete with those top 25. You know, but I go back to.
Now they do have more resources, right? They're able to play ball longer, right? Better weather.
Georgia, Florida, Texas.
Right. So those other states definitely have a longer season.
Take out the weather piece and go back to what we were just talking about. They're unified in their approach.
Yeah.
Yep.
The gap doesn't exist.
There's no gap at all.
All right, well, let me throw this curve.
And it's a mental approach too. Like it's 100% a thought process. There's no gap. I'm ready to compete, right? And those guys are out there, 14-year-olds shoving 82, 83. They'll throw 3 balls in a row, and the shortstop be like, "Got to compete, bro. Let's go." Got to compete.
So then, how do you change that mindset? How do you change that culture? Right. I know it's not going to happen over day, but bit by bit, how do you create that change?
I'll jump right in on this one. So we as adults have to remove the politics from every single thing that we do in any youth sport.
Can we add emotions too?
Well, yeah, that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
You can't lead with emotions. You can't have, and we'll have a podcast topic about this, but you can't have your kid on such a high pedestal that when a coach that knows what they're talking about comes in and kind of pulls it out from under them and tells it to you like it's real, that it's now you as the coach's fault, and as opposed to, hey, buddy, you know, you were good in this team, this league, this game, but there's always room for growth. The politicization of youth sports, we can talk about that all day. There's probably a topic in one of the 50 or 6 day iron, but you have to continue to lead by example. You have to continue to see the 5, 10, 15-year picture and know that, you know, and I'm one to talk about it right now, know that a lot of shit's going to be thrown your way every single day, every single minute, hour, and you just push through knowing that the end goal is the kids. Yep. If you can just focus on that, you're going
first, man.
And I also think, like, obviously the world we live in right now is, and I'll be honest with you, soft. Yep. Right? Like my JV
Sherman.
Yes. My JV coach my freshman year, a kid at, and now I'm not condoning this, but a kid that was playing second base during IO missed 3 balls in a row in front of an opposing team. My coach threw his fungo in the outfield. Right? Threw his fungo in the outfield. No parents said shit. The kids didn't say shit. We just said, "Oh, coach is pissed. Let's turn it around." Right? And like I said, I'm not condoning throwing the fungo, but right, if that happened in today's world, you're getting sued, you're getting the cops called on you, right? That kid didn't cry.
That's true. I was going to say some of the best coaches I ever had were the ones that pushed me
hard,
mentally and physically the hardest, and taught me life lessons on how to be a man.
Yes.
Right? So it's,
and
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And granted, we were older, right? I'm not saying you go to an 8U game and you throw a fungo across the field and you know,
signed up for that
and curse at the kids. I'm not saying that, but I feel like to your point, right, which is it becomes the coach is the bad guy when you give some constructive criticism. Nobody's out to get little Johnny. I'm trying to develop a ball player, right? And I see their talent. Right?
Trying to do it for free, by the way, because
for free, right?
I'm gonna give a little Maria Jones advice out there. She told me back when I was terrible, right? The only way you're gonna get better is if you can learn how to take criticism, and that stuck with me. I was maybe 10, 11. The minute you start asking for that criticism and you own it, and then you actually work on whatever, and it's not so much just sports, it's
Everything.
everything, right? If you're able to take criticism for what it is, advice on how to get better, whether it's baseball or life, that's what I at least try to tell my kids,
Yep.
right? I'm not telling you you're a bad ball player. I'm trying to tell you what we can work on to get better at. But I think part of the problem though is how things are worded too, right? You know, when you have some coaches out there, they're just like, what are you doing? Instead of taking the moment and saying, hey, look, if you stay back a little bit more, right? If you closed your hip, whatever it may be, whatever technique, it's, to me, I think that's our biggest issue
Yep.
is how coaches' messaging is being brought to the kids and how the kids are receiving it. There's a disconnect there, at least from what I see.
RJ, you can edit this one back in, but when we were down there playing at Lake Point, we were down at the PBR event down there, Lake Point Sports in Georgia. We're talking about resources here and being provided for like a lot more kids that are down in that area.
Yeah.
We went back into the fields that are being provided, like PBR and Lake Point. Like, you're playing on the 90-foot diamond. You literally have like Rapsodo, 4-year display up there. Like, it's sitting up there in this huge MLB massive screen TV for you to see what the pitcher is throwing, like base RPM, right? What they're throwing their four seam at. Then it calls a four seam out there and you can see it, right? Or he calls a change up, right? It says change up, spin rate is this, right? It measures exit velocity it measures velocity, exit velocity, right? So the kids that actually feel the baseball out there can look back there on the board and say, oh man, he hit 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
That's awesome.
Right. It's such a great environment to grow in, right? I wish we had that. I mean, Chancellor's is an opportunity here in the county to like have really good tournaments, and bring in local talent, right? To put together awesome teams to go out there and compete against other people who are coming in from the county here.
See, and that's
Chancellor's is a beautiful place.
And that's what I think we need.
Yeah.
I think we need to bring in the competition to show the area what we need to do. Do you know what I mean? We're always going out to the world.
Yeah.
If we were to find a way to, I don't know how we would go about this with the county and scheduling something like this, but if we brought the talent in and the area saw, oh, wait a second, this team from Georgia just spanked us.
Yeah.
What are they doing that we're not doing? So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like your kids don't listen until they fall down the stairs, and you tell them to, put their shoes on or not run down with the stairs or with your socks on. I think that's what we need in this area. We need a slap in the face to say, hey, wait a second.
Well, this is what you're bringing up too, is that could get us from an us versus them down here to an all of us versus the competition.
Right.
And going back to Mikey's idea of the inspiration kind of behind Ghost, right? Get the best of the best, right? The best of the best to truly represent the talent in the Southern Maryland area. And it's here. There's lots of it.
It's called an integration gap.
Integration gap. We should have changed the name of this episode from the bridge to the integration gap.
Well, and then like to your point, like I don't think like we should be able to do that, and then when you come back, go back to your other travel team, right?
Yeah.
that you play local with.
I mean, that's what me and Declan do.
I don't care.
Well, other coaches do though. Other coaches do. There are other organizations in this area that do not want you to travel with other teams. All right. They make you sign documents that say you will not go, all right, and play with another organization. Because we are
playing rec league.
But they aren't, that's like your children, like athletes. This gets me spicy right now, bro.
Yeah,
I'm about to blow up.
But that's the thing.
Children are not, athletes are not property, T.
Yep.
I was just going to
They
say,
are
it's almost
not
like
property,
ownership.
man.
Like,
They're not property.
Yeah.
When if me and Declan leave and we head out on a weekend, right? And we go down there and we're playing with our national squad, we're playing with KF, right? We're down in Georgia, we're Lake Point, or we're down in Florida, right? We're down there in a Boomba, that complex there, right? We have setups this year in New York, right? And then we'll be up in Jersey, I believe, too.
Represent.
Yeah. And so that's right, man. But when we go down there and we're playing with KF, we have a unique link back to our guys here with 5-Star, right? And Liam plays with Ghost. He's out there hanging out with his other friends and the other kids that are there that are all, the feral children. The feral children.
Come back 3 games later, their hair's all messed up.
But yeah, if the kids are able to just do the things, like they're just out there playing baseball, right? I haven't gotten static from anybody. about that at all, because he's going down there and representing his organization. He's also going down there and representing KF, man. I mean, it's a great time.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Really good families.
And I'm not saying, right, I'm saying Ghost now, right, because I started Ghost and they're a national organization, right? That gives you an avenue to go be able to play in those national tournaments. If you're a local team, Southern Maryland Cucamongas, you're not going to get in a national tournament.
New banana ball team.
It's just not. You're not going to get into those big PG major tournaments or a big PG tournament
at all.
Right? You can get into the local guys who run a PG regional tournament just to call out the name, but you're not going to get in those big tournaments. So that's why I say Ghost. But if not, if it wasn't Ghost, do something.
You can't just stay here and go to Richmond, right? And maybe go up north to like PA
or Ripken and Aberdeen.
If you truly want to see the world, if you truly want if you as an athlete, I'm talking all you guys out there, if you're an athlete and you really want to grow, all right, find a team, all right, outside of your normal organization. Find a team that you can grow on and go travel with those guys.
But then it leads back to the parent thing, right? The kids can't make that decision. But I don't think the parents know enough, honestly. Yeah, I don't think they know these opportunities exist.
Let me play devil's advocate, though. Okay, right? So then I'm looking at it from a parent perspective now.
Yeah.
I don't have the resources to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have the funds to do that. But I have a good ball player. So then what do I do then if my kid's a stud, right? And I'm not saying my kid's a stud, but I'm just saying my kid's a stud, but I don't have the resources. So then what's the answer?
I'll give you a prime example right here, right now. Just happened today. I have Ghost National hit me up. Hey, you got a player for Houston next weekend or in the end of February?
I know where this is going.
I said, yep, sure do. I said, let me reach out to the parents. It's a little short notice. Okay, what I'll do is two instances, right? One, they asked for 2 kids. I recommended 2 or 3. One, has players in the organization, multiple kids in the organization, just paid for uniforms, just paid for player fees. I told Ghost, hey, don't worry, we'll waive their fee. They'll go for free. Another one, same thing. Hey, a little short notice. The Ghost National was like, hey, well, what's their financial situation? I know it's short notice. I said, let me check. Parent told me, I said, if you can swing it, the parent told me, he said, well, we're not sure if we'll swing it, but we'll make it happen. And I said, okay. Ghost said, I'll give them $300 off for them to come.
Now that's fantastic. I love that Ghost is doing that. I guess where I'm coming from is the parents that can't even afford travel.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean? Because we have kids in Little League right now that some parents can't afford Little League. So if you have a stud kid that's playing, we'll say rec ball, right? So what would be the advice to those kids that? I mean, I'd love to say that you guys have, special money to where you can pick 1 or 2 kids, but let's just say there's 20 kids down here that are great baseball players, but don't have the financial resources.
Fundraise.
Sponsorships.
Yeah, and I think another piece, 5-10-year picture is if we're all working together as kind of one baseball, softball entity, there should be a lot of funds available for those kids that could be afforded those opportunities.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised too. There's a lot of anonymous parents on a lot of teams that will get into the season like, hey, put this $300 aside. Any kid that's got any issue buying this, paying for this, getting that, just take care of it kind of thing. So where there's a will, there's a way. The talent is here. It's just a matter of being educated on those opportunities, right? Being afforded those opportunities, and then just asking the question to pursue it.
Well, but I do think, just to finish off my point, I think that's part of it too, right? Maybe some have the talent, but they know they can't afford it, so they didn't even attempt to come out.
Sure.
That's true.
So maybe that's part of the messaging too that I guess travel organizations can do. Hey, if you're that good, we want you, regardless whether or not you can afford it or not. We'll find a way.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I tried to do it with a 10U player.
Yeah.
Right. I know single mom, they can't afford travel ball. I said, if that's what's stopping you from coming to this organization, I will figure it out. Right. So me personally, I will figure it out. If he needs rides to practice, I will figure it out.
Yep.
Right. And they decided not to for whatever reason they had, but he's a hell of a ball player. Oh,
I think I know.
And I said, whatever we need to do, I got you. We'll figure it out.
Well, let me ask you this, going back to it, because we're talking about resources.
Mm-hmm.
how do we get Coach A from this league to communicate and talk with, pick the brain of, get help from Coach B in another league? And before anyone answers that question, I know us four right here, right now, are doing that, right? We went down to Florida. We had deep conversations about how we can bridge that gap between giving back to all of the kids, not just focused on those 12 that might be on my ghost team or this team, but giving back to all the kids. But how do we get the mindset shift for all of the volunteers down here to not be afraid to call Mikey, who has that background, or call Ryan, who has that catching background, or even you with the catching background, to say, hey, Jimmy, I know you're with Little League and I'm with a travel organization, but my kids are struggling at catching. What can you do? You know?
It comes down to being ego-free. You
Yeah,
gotta want to make that call.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the coaches too, like very specifically, like I'm the infield side of the house, specifically like the corner, middle infield side area. That's a very advanced, those are very advanced positions. I knew that Mikey, this is before Mikey even started Ghost.
Mhm.
I knew Mikey was an infielder at Felician, right? Felician College. You say Felician, right?
Shout out number
Felicia.
19.
Sorry, bros.
Number
Yeah, I'm just, I had to flashback there for a second, man.
Oh my God, these water bottles.
Shout out to Felicia, number 19 in the country right now.
But, I knew Mikey was an infield coach, and I said, hey, man, will you come out and work with the org, right? And I remember the very first time that me and you met was at a host clinic,
That's right.
right? And me and you taught catching.
Yeah.
To the
at
majors,
KCA.
the minors and majors athlete. It wasn't at KCA.
No,
it
no,
was down at the college.
College,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it was, so this is where I'm going. Like the coalition itself and all the coaches in this area, right? They should host joint clinics, man.
Yes.
Don't charge anything to these parents.
Yeah.
All right. Let the county know. All right. Hey, we'd like to host a clinic. Do we need to really pay you guys a fee? To come out there and have a bunch of kids on the field? Do we, and if we do, can we get that covered? Can the Little League cover that side of the house, or can our local travel ball organization just cover the rental side of the house on the field and have an entire joint clinic host, man? And then you have coaches that are crossing threads between one another, right? You're publishing shared drill libraries,
Yep.
right? Inside of, a Microsoft Word document
it's
that's
all
shared in one of your
for
Google
one
iCloud
goal.
things, man.
The kids.
All the kids getting better.
The kids,
And
man.
that's the goal, the
Yeah.
entire goal of this coalition. So I want to make sure I say that up front, because, well, not up front, we're 30 minutes into the podcast, but there is an idea that the coalition is aiming to be one league and take over everything and just run through one person or one entity. But the whole idea of this coalition is exactly what Ryan just alluded to. There's no reason why we can't have joint clinics together where we're training coaches, or one clinic is just infield specific and it's Mikey teaching infield or catching, whatever it might be, right? And we started that, this coalition started that with partnering with CAO at the end of last year. We had an arm care clinic for our overhand pitchers, that being baseball players. Softball players were invited too. But we hosted it at CAO in Wildwood. Jill Kenya, Al, and the whole team was
Legit
there,
clinic.
just briefing all of these coaches across travel, both rec leagues. It was good representation there. And that is the idea of the coalition. That is the goal of the coalition. Take all of these resources so we can stop the separation of the haves and have-nots and really align us under that one goal of just making the kids better.
Yep.
You're speaking of CAO with the coalition, aligning everything together. I really want to give a quick shout out to CAO. Like, they have been absolutely incredible and welcoming to every single athlete in this county. That is the most underutilized sports performance facility I have ever seen. It is so underutilized, and kids walk in that door and all of the equipment that they have with updated digitized versions of iPad type stuff that you can utilize to judge metrics. I mean, it's one step away, maybe two steps from being an MLB level facility, man. Where you can go, and it's right here in Wildwood.
Yeah,
it's right down the street.
We have about 8 podcast ideas lined up with them. I'm currently working with Al right now on a really cool idea that's going to be for everyone, but it's in partnership with the Blue Crabs, to be announced, but pretty excited about that.
Shout out Jason Blakely over there, man.
But then it goes back to like you said, it's the coalition, right? Somebody still, with everything you just talked about, will try to find something wrong with that, right? Like someone legit would find something wrong with you using your resources to go to a CAO, right? To teach these kids. There's still somebody out there that's going to use their ego and say, this isn't good, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why is that not good?
Those parking spaces aren't wide enough.
Just like Ghost. When I first started, I got hate. I know, because I'm switching things up, right? I don't think it's up to par in some aspects. Switching things up. This is year 2. I've grown from 1 team to 4, maybe 5 here locally, 2 up to Baltimore. Total of 7 teams.
Some city, really.
2 out of Baltimore.
In year 2, right? I have 2 kids confirmed going to Houston to play, and that's what this was about. It was to develop, give opportunities when it's due, like give credit when credit's due, reward the kids. And I got hate for that.
Yeah, Mikey, it's funny you mentioned that hate. Jeff, go ahead and pull up those Facebook posts. No, I'm joking.
I was going to say, this is definitely going to get juicy.
The only thing I'll add is, right, I've only recently stepped in the role as president of Little League, right? And there's...
God bless you.
When we talk about the coalition, right, that's a funny thing for St. Mary's to say, hey, I'm completely on board, right, because there's so many rules and things that I have to make sure that I stay in line with. But what I would tell the Little League kids is take advantage of the opportunities of the coalition. I can't necessarily say that Little League is directly connected to it, but what I can tell the kids is, yeah, go for it. All of these resources that they're providing, that you guys are providing to these kids, they'd be dumb not to go after it, right? I can't say, hey, Little League's going to help sponsor certain things, but what I can tell these kids is...
They're open to you.
Exactly.
They're open to everyone.
Exactly. So that's part of the stigma, too. I don't want it to be an us versus them. Yes, I can't directly put our name on it, but I'm encouraging all the kids. I don't care if you're playing Little League, if you're not playing baseball in an organized sport and you're trying to learn the game, go for it.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the rules, too, because there is a lot that governs Little League and other local leagues like Babe Ruth, Pony, Cal Ripken, whatever org you want to throw at it.
These chairs suck.
I know. We're in super uncomfortable chairs. My butt is super numb. Not going to lie. But going back to the rules piece. Yeah, the rules piece with Little League. I ran it for 5 years, and the reason I wanted to get this coalition going was because I know there are things that Little League technically can't sponsor, right? And I know that Little League can't open up a clinic to all the kids in the community or all the coaches. You got to be registered volunteer, you got to pass background checks, everything, which everybody should be passing background check. That is 100% true.
Absolutely.
But, I get the things that are governing there. So the coalition can help bridge that because now, hey, Little League, you're invited. Hey, SMCYO, you're invited. Ghost, you're invited. Senators, you name it. Everybody come to this clinic. I can tell you we got one coming up. It's one of my favorites. Melissa's doing a game changer training session. She's super excited about that. We're going to show some plays of, hey, this ground ball was hit to the shortstop and it was routine and he booted it. Is that a hit or an error?
I don't know if we need it. D-Nice is fantastic.
Well, she can code.
I
can tell you right now, man. If there's kids made all-stars. Kids make all-stars, man, off have a 900 fielding percentage. And they booted 10 of 10 baseballs.
They're batting 1,000 and they haven't hit the ball past the pitcher yet. He just threw it away every time.
I can only talk to D-Nice.
I really do love that Melissa's going to do that because like she is the ultimate just game changer aficionado. And
did she tell you there was going to be dessert?
No, but she came in here, gave me a knife hand, man, if I didn't say something good about her. But no, like Melissa is one of the rare types of volunteers and mom, right, that you have on your side. She is an amazing individual that is not ego driven. She wants what's best for the kids. She loves doing Game Changer. She gets to sit by the dugout and smile all day long and chat with the children. And so like every team that I've ever been on with Melissa, man, that just the kids are always happy because they have an amazing person, to sit next to, man. So
she helps keep the
you're your wife, your wife is a rock star, man. So I just wanted to give her a shout out, brother. No, I mean, I'm being serious.
Well,
man.
I appreciate it. She's always learning
incredible.
it too. That's the important part. Like,
Yeah.
so game changer, you can be
Sometimes you can get
100% set in
advanced
your
in it, man.
ways
It's kinda
and
crazy.
let the game play and just say,
Mhm.
oh, that's a hit, that's a hit, that's a hit. But she still asks questions. And now, but when I ask her a question as a coach, well, you better watch out.
And they always say you can, a good, when you have a good coach, look at his wife, right? Or for real, to say,
Jesus, he already invited you to the podcast, Brian.
Mikey's saying it.
to be real, right?
Heck,
No,
man.
you're right. It's same with you. It's same with everyone in here.
Unreal.
Look at their support system they have, right?
100%.
It takes a special kind of wife, especially not even at
For sure.
not even at this level, right?
I
At
know.
this rec or travel, but like if you go higher,
Yep.
some of their wives are saints to put
100%.
in. Like I've had times where I'm pulling my hair out and like losing sleep.
Yep. Dude, that was so funny. I got just a little side note. We're up at Ripken, Aberdeen. Us four, we're coaching baseball, loving life, right? Jimmy's wife, Denise, comes up to the game on that Saturday with Vinny, his son, and Ryan and Mikey just casually walk by, or one of them walks by and is like, hey, Jen, how you doing? Or, hey, Laura, how you doing?
Yeah, it was Jen.
Yeah,
The best
Jen.
part about it was
Jen.
we just had our 11-year anniversary, and she put that Facebook post, and she goes, "Did you see what Ryan said? What'd you say?
And talk about
Congrats or happy, Jen?
Well,
Yeah, happy anniversary,
happy
Jen.
anniversary, Jen."
talk about a
She
saint.
loves it.
Talk
She
about
loves it.
talk about wife being a saint. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but Mikey was up there during his anniversaries. Kudos to Tori for letting that
No
happen.
joke.
All right, so what do you,
Shout out to Gretchen. You rock too.
Yeah.
I love you to death, girl. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being an amazing, supportive baseball mom as well.
Gretchen is great. So we'll wrap this up here. We're gonna wrap up.
We don't have any more?
episode one.
We still got a bunch left here, RJ. What are
Dude,
we
I'm-
wrapping up the episode?
Well,
What are you
I was
talking-
progressing and carrying this conversation like a champ. You guys are saying great things, dude. We got like 58 podcasts. to
Oh
get
no,
through.
hold on, bro. Go over that. So
Which part?
you got the 5 year. We got the 5 year, right?
That's where I was coming
Oh,
to.
you're one of the 5 year. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's one
So
of
I
my
said
favorites.
to end it here. It's a Saturday morning
Yeah.
in St. Mary's.
Yes.
Saturday morning, baseball season. What does that look like for you, Ryan?
Unity.
I love
Like complete unity. All right. We've got travel, we have coaches, we have Little League, it's a Saturday morning and all like Chancellor's is occupied, right?
All day.
All day long, right? Chancellor's occupied all day long. Dorsey
Baggett,
is occupied.
Dorsey.
Dean is even occupied
bro.
over there, right? And maybe even Higgs, right? As
Yeah.
old school, right? And parents, got glizzies on the Blackstone out in the parking lot, so like unity, structure, positive growth, right? You're seeing toughness in the kids, but they're smiling out there, right? And they're having the time of their lives. And there's not one single individual parent out there giving a bunch of static to their kid because they struck out.
Or coach because
coach.
they're batting
Or coach.
somewhere or not playing somewhere.
No, it is a beautiful utopian society of epicness.
Can I piggyback off that real quick?
Yeah, please do. They're St. Mary's Little League president.
We're all parents, right? We're all parents, and we talk to our kids.
Yeah,
What's the one thing we always tell our kids? As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy. That's all that I care about. These kids playing the game, regardless of the outcome, how good they are, whatever, as long as they're happy playing the game of baseball I love,
Yeah, bro.
that's what I hope 5 years looks like.
100%. All of them.
Yeah.
No stress is the big thing.
Yeah.
Right? Just no added stress, especially as they get to that 12, 13,
Yeah.
14, jumping to that 90-foot. Just they already have enough stress.
That's
Don't add anymore.
And to add to Jimmy's too, like resources are super easy to find.
Yes.
Well, and I think
Like both monetary,
Yeah.
volunteer, monetary type resources and entire staff. It's very easy.
And that's what I love about this podcast, right? Because I think for the first time since I've been in baseball, the second time around with Vinny, maybe people can watch this and now understand, hey, wait, maybe I just need to pick up the phone call. And when's the tryout? All right, I might not have this, but you might identify a kid that's a stud, right? And it's not just closed off anymore. There is an opportunity, regardless of income or status, whatever it may be. If a kid's good, I want to see that kid play baseball.
Yep. I'll tell you what, right
That's how you
now,
grow a powerhouse, man.
I'll tell you right now that we've Chesapeake Ghost perspective, we've surrounded ourselves with a great coaching staff on all these teams that we would never limit opportunity over money. I can tell you that right now. From an organization-wide, that's something we definitely pride ourselves on. I can only speak to Chesapeake Ghosts. I'm sure other organizations hopefully would run the same. But like you said, Jimmy, hopefully people will see this and pick up the phone and call, because we will never turn down anybody because, they can't afford it. That's not what we do. That's not what I do. And that's not what my coaches would do.
So. You've put it here first.
That's pro feedback, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, and so legit, this coalition and every single person you see on this podcast is in it for one reason and one reason only, and that is for kids.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Dang it, Jimmy, that was going to be episode 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It is for your kids, 100% your kids. Our kids are included in that, okay, because they're part of this baseball, softball community, but we are here for your kids, giving up our free time to train them, to help them fall in love with the game, stay in love with the game, and turn out to be the best version of a man or woman that they can be. Because at the end of the day, baseball is going to go away for a lot of them. The pool gets smaller and smaller as they get older and older. We want them to take away life lessons that set them up to be great contributors of society, to be leaders, and to be strong in their confidence. We got to get rid of the politics in youth sports, specifically down here in baseball and softball. They have to go. They have to go now. And if they don't, then we're going to be in that trap that we're in right now, and it's a continuous cycle that will never end. So we hope with this podcast, as we keep doing more episodes and bringing in guests and talking about different resources, and we'll have some fun ones too. It's going to be great. We hope that this podcast could be beneficial to not only the parents, but the kids, the coaches, to anyone in our community and globally, whoever's listening at some point, to really understand, take the politics out of it, put the kids first, and beautiful things will happen.
Yep, and that's the Ghost National way, right? And I'm, like I said, that's just all I know, because I don't play other travel teams around here, but that's their mission statement, right? Their goal is to extend amateur careers as long as they can with development, training, and providing resources. Why can't we do the same in St. Mary's County?
You want to talk about a circle story, circle ending. What did I tell you? Max's goal was in baseball. He wants to play baseball until he can't anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm sure most of the kids listening, parents, your kids probably want to do the same. So with that, I think we're signing off for episode 1.
Are we doing the sentimental breakdown? What's the
Didn't you want to talk about the things that we brought?
Yeah. We got
to bring all these things,
dude. I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning. So one way we want to end the podcast each time, and I think this is really cool. We want to share with you something that just means something to not only us, but might mean something to you as well. It's kind of we'll come up with a catchy name for it, but it's something sentimental to us, something that's doesn't even have to be baseball related. I'm sure most of it probably is baseball related, but we think this is a really cool segment, and as we get going with it, it'll morph and progress. So who wants to go first?
Hand me my book bag.
Your whole book bag?
No, the top
bag.
Unzip the top part.
This guy brought a suitcase.
No. The top part. Yeah.
Yeah, the top part.
I'll go first. I'll knock it out. I'll show you guys how it's done.
He said the top part, but he said the top part, but the
Yeah,
other
there
one.
we go.
Oh my gosh.
What is this thing, man?
So this is
I got mine in the closet.
This is my high school cage jacket.
It's got a lot of summer creases. Summer here and summer there.
What's fantastic about this, gentlemen, I can still fit into it.
What number you got there?
So I didn't get my number 10, but I got the double deuce.
I thought that said Paul
Right.
Skeens on the back.
It's Paul Skeens High School roll-up jacket.
And really what's fantastic about this, right? So Great Mills is where I probably had one of the toughest coaches, not even baseball and basketball. Coach Heibel, you want to talk about a man who pushed me hard and really showed me how deep I can go, which translated to the baseball field, right? I didn't know that I could run sprints, box out, push guys, and that toughness translated onto the baseball field to where nobody was going to outplay me, beat me out on anything. And what's fantastic about this jacket is then passing it down to my youngest, Vinny.
That's cool,
And
bro.
the fact that he wants to hang this up in his room and he looks at this
Got to sign it, man.
and
Yeah, man.
He's telling me when he gets to Great Mills, he's wearing double deuce, and this is the jacket he's going to wear when he plays there.
Love that.
So this, I'll never get
I'd
rid of
probably be
this.
balling all over the place, bro.
Yeah. Who's next?
That's my bullet.
Well, we can't back down. We gotta go ahead there. Am I going?
You can go down the line.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I'm gonna go this way. All right. So you probably saw this entire time since sitting back here. You may not have noticed, but this is my dad right here. Right. And this was probably when I was, I think, maybe 2 years old. Maybe I was a little bit younger than that. But my dad gave me this picture for my wedding day when I married Gretchen. And I was an air crewman. I flew for 22 years. And he wrote, I had it etched, it says, "How time flies." Right. Because I flew. So it was really great. Now, my dad taught me that, baseball wasn't about just chasing a logo. It was about, building, a player, building a family, building a good structure around, the love that you give for your family will continue to echo more than you could ever know, and so my dad was an incredible person. He protected my love for the game, and so that's where that special photo comes from.
I need you to grow a mustache out. I want to see.
Dude, my dad rode Harleys, and I think that truck in the back he painted himself. I mean, it was just
he's a man's man.
He was a man's man.
I love it.
He's taking me camping up in Yellowstone.
God rest his soul.
He was a good person, man.
Good luck, Mikey.
Yeah, no, that's tough. That is tough. Mine is baseball related. So this bat here, you can see it. This is 23 years old. This is when I went to Cooperstown for the first time, right?
That's beautiful,
and the whole team got these bats. I don't know if anybody else kept them, but I do know that was something that travel ball brought me, was a unified team, right? And experiences. So we went to Cooperstown, right? 12, 13 of us. I remember to this day, 23 years ago, all the fun we had, the exchanging pins. I remember where we stayed. I remember going to the Hall of Fame. I remember all that. And this bat just solidifies that. And like I said, I dug it out. It's in my basement normally, and just brings back great memories. And to point out what you said, RJ, earlier, is that someday the game is going to stop for some people, right? This bat right here, if I go down the list of names, and out of all these kids, I was the only one to play high school and college. And that's not a kudos to me.
Yeah.
That's just saying that.
Statistics.
That's just saying that, we had a blast.
Yeah.
And that's what I think travel ball at a young age should be.
100%.
About experiences and having a blast. Love all these kids that I played with, and means a lot to me. So,
I mean, look at you now. You're 60 years old and you still have those memories.
And if everybody didn't see that when Mikey first presented, like the names of all the players are etched on the bat. Like it is so awesome. I wish that's
really
beautiful. And that the stamp, the logo on it too. That's a beautiful piece right there.
Pass that down when we're done.
Yeah, made in
What
Cooperstown,
is it,
USA.
Middletown Chargers?
Yeah, Middletown, New Jersey Chargers, man.
2003.
2003.
2003.
That's beautiful.
The
Man.
boys, this was a good time. I thought
you said 2023. I forgot to carry
I
the
was a
two.
sophomore.
I'll have high school. I'll have a story offline for you guys. Probably not appropriate for this one, but dude, we had a blast.
We'll get some adult podcasts stood up. Like, hey, kids,
A 12-year-old story from Cooperstown.
Yeah. Sure.
Last but not least.
So mine's, I don't want to say it's a little selfish, but you notice I'm not in any baseball gear except for the thing that's on my hat. And this was it's a beautiful hat. This was the hat that's given to the coaches at the Ripken Futures games down in Florida. And I say it selfishly because I went through a lot last year with from a coaching volunteer perspective. Being called things such as the worst little league coach, being removed as manager from a team, things that were out of my control, but for whatever reason they were happening. Joining this ghost organization has afforded me a lot of opportunities, and one of the biggest ones was getting to know Mikey and getting to a point where I get a call one day that they need some coaches in Aberdeen for the Ripken games there. So I go through the process with Brian, I get selected. I need a coach to bring with me. I get to Jimmy. Jimmy's like, hey, yeah, I'll do it. Absolutely. He called within an hour. He's like, yeah, I'll go up there with you. So we go up to Aberdeen, not knowing what to expect. You know, Ryan and Mikey have done it before or have been through the coaching process with high-level talent before, and Jimmy and I don't know what to expect. So we go up there, give it our best with a team, and have an absolute blast. To the point where we got a lot of positive feedback from the parents, and that feedback was provided to the Ripken team, where we got selected along with Mikey and Ryan, but Ryan couldn't make it, to go down to Futures in Florida, where the best of the Ripken talent from all across the country kind of merged together and had just an awesome way to end the baseball season in December.
And the best coaches and mentors too,
The
Archie.
best
Don't leave
coaches
that
and
out.
mentors,
Those guys select you guys based on that stuff too.
Well, 100%. And so I say this selfishly because what I went through, part of me wanted to go down there and, in lack of a better way of saying it, to prove myself as a coach. Like, I know I'm a good coach, but sometimes you let the noise kind of distract you from that. So to be able to go down there and coach in my style that has made me who I am today, coach alongside Jimmy, who, you know, we played high school ball together and then, you know, drifted apart because, you know, he went to college, I did this, we all did that, right? Get back together because our kids bring us back together. So I'm down there with Jimmy again and just coaching, having a blast, being able to coach the 9U boys to a championship. And, you know, the hat is just a little star. Unfortunately, it looks like Cowboys, but just a little star. But to me, it means a lot as in the mindset that, you know what, I can do this no matter how much noise is out there. So I'm going to leave you with that. There's a lot of noise around any particular name, any particular thing that's happening in the community, but always keep focus on what the end goal is, and we've already established it here, and that's the kids. So if we can stay focused on them and growing them, then I think we can get to that 5-year Saturday morning where it's just unity.
Yeah, bro.
It's just unity. So with that, we are officially ending the first podcast. Sorry I forgot the sharing piece, but we're going to do it each week. I don't have anything else to say. You guys got anything? Any parting words?
No, great podcast. I do not like the fact that the hat does look like Cowboys. Because somebody said something to me in a store about it, and I said, F no. So
I had to set them straight.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I had a great time with you guys. This is fun. This is going to be special. It's going to grow, and I think it's going to be beneficial for everybody.
Your kid belongs. There's a path for your kid. Let's build it.
Yeah. All I have is my good looks, everybody.
Debatable.
All right, guys. With that, we are signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Dugout. For more spotlights, expert development tips, and to see the latest from the Dugout Podcast, follow us on Facebook. From the Southern Maryland Youth Baseball and Softball Coalition, thanks for listening. We'll see you in the Dugout.